There are major Spider-Man spoilers coming ahead that we need to talk about.
If this is true, what a ultimate spoiler of all spoilers.
Yeah, step into the shadows.
We mapped the cosmic Cold War where the Jedi met the Syndicate and analyzed the master plan, the motive, and the wicked grit. From Gotham's gritty alleys to the throne room on Apocalypse, unleashing lore, heavy knowledge from the serpent's verbal exodus. Welcome to the Villainz Lair podcast. Welcome to the Villainz Lair podcast.
And welcome everyone inside the Villainz Lair on this Thursday. So happy to be with you, Ryan and Alvin. Alvin, how are you doing today?
What up, G? I'm doing pretty good. I got this hoodie on. I have no shirt underneath it because I just woke up from bed. So right. I just put on the whatever was next to me.
100%. Dude, so much Spider-Man news to talk about today, whether it's from Spider-Noir, getting our reactions to the first episode. We know everything dropped. We didn't have a chance to watch the entire thing, but we are going to talk about the first episode, this premiere episode of Spider-Noir. But huge reports and rumors coming out of Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday that have to do with our guy Peter Parker. So if you don't want to, I guess, hear something, massive spoiler alert if this is true. So we warned you, right?
Yeah, warning them.
Well, before we get to Spider-Man, though, we want to talk about Wolverine, because you can enter to win a free copy of Insomniac's Wolverine on PlayStation 5. All you got to do is be a subscriber to the Villainz Lair on YouTube, then head over to Instagram, follow the Villainz Lair account, find the Wolverine sweepstakes post. You got to like that post, you got to share it with 3 friends, and you got to follow the Villainz Lair on Instagram. It's that easy.
Super easy. Just click, man. I've seen people write paragraphs on some of our postings about how they feel about their fandoms. It's much easier than writing a whole paragraphs in your opinion.
It's so easy. It's just a click of a button, and it's so easy to like these videos. Please consider giving us a like if you want more content like this. You want us on your feed giving you the latest and greatest in superhero news and trailer reactions. We're going to have a couple new series coming out as well. And based off some stuff we talked about yesterday, sounds like we may be doing some man on the street stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So while you're steaming up your hot pocket, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so let's get into what we got to talk about today. And we were super excited, waiting and in anticipation for Amazon's Spider-Noir to drop. This is the spinoff from the Spider-Verse character, the same character Nicolas Cage voices. Well, he's playing him in live action, and based on the first episode that I've seen and you've seen, for me, it did not disappoint. What did you think of, the visual aesthetic? So first of all, I watched it in black and white and you watched it in color, correct?
That's right. That's right.
What did you think of kind of the visual aesthetic of that?
I think I might go your route next time around. My thing with this too, I feel like the colorists and the producers could not make up their minds in their timeline, which colors they want to pick for for this whole series. So they were like, let's just give them 2 options instead of us picking the options for you, which is awesome because I've never seen this done before. I mean, Zack Snyder did his whole cut of the Justice League in black and white 4:3, right? So it was, I don't think they did it in black and white, but they definitely did it in 4:3. You had the option, I believe, to do it in black and white. But the 4:3 was kind of weird. But this one around, you have it in full HD, 4K, and you have it in both different colors. I think I much rather go in black and white because the color to me was a little dull. Even though I watched cinematics before on that kind of color, but I think it will bring out the whole feeling of that 1930s look, Spider-Noir if I watched it in black and white, as you probably know.
Right. I mean, for me, the black and white, I mean, when you were talking about like the setting being like heavily industrial, New York City, and all of the brick and metal and stuff, it just sort of lended itself, especially some of those rainy scenes.
Yeah,
Anytime there's like a hint of light, like especially what you see here in this image with the lights in his mask on his eyes, it really stands out. And it just gave it a really cool effect that I enjoyed. The swinging and wall crawling and all that stuff looked really really cool in that color palette or just black and white. So I thought, obviously the character, the whole shtick in the Spider-Verse movies is that he's the only character in black and white, right?
yeah.
And so it just kind of felt, true to the character to watch this in black and white.
And also, me being from New York, it probably would have been better off if I did watch it in black and white, because knowing that even though it's based in 1930s New York City, we all know it was shot here in LA. Wink, wink.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
but one cool thing though, like if if you were to watch this whole thing in black and white, that would be awesome. If this version of Spider-Man of Ben came to met all the other Spider-Mans in MCU right now, and he was still in black and white.
Yeah,
Kind of like the
exactly.
video
Like
game.
continue the Spider-Verse gag, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to do I know we sort of got it in No Way Home, right? With the three Spider-Man, almost like the meme, but it would be fun to have Spider-Noir and like Tom Holland, kind of recreate something like that.
Right, exactly.
So Nicolas Cage, obviously, and an older actor, but getting to play the superhero in live action. What did you think of like his portrayal? We get the story beat that he fell in love with a girl, you see, and
Yeah, you
then
see, I'm gonna get you, coppers.
and she died, and he sort of caused him to give up being the superhero role because he let her down. It's almost his Gwen Stacy moment. And I still think that it was really cool seeing the action stuff in the opening montage, but I think the tortured version until he fights Sandman on top of that building.
Yeah,
I just thought his portrayal is so good.
his portrayal is amazing. Sign me up. Dick Tracy meets Spider-Man. Who would have
Yeah.
thunk this one, right? And I loved Dick Tracy at the time. He was super popular, especially with the cartoon. And
Hmm.
as a kid watching the cartoon Dick Tracy, I would never think Spider-Man would take its place.
Right.
But it's cool seeing this portrayal. I mean, everyone's so used to traditional teenage Peter Parker story to now an older, traumatized, washed up Ben Riley as a failed private investigation investigator is
Yeah.
freaking an awesome thing to see. And Nicolas Cage, from what I heard before, he might have said his approach was 70% like Humphrey Bogart to like 30% Bugs Bunny or something like
Yeah.
that. And then cosplaying like as a spider cosplaying a human. That's a selling point if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's a great mix. You're trying to like still be true to the genre and the era, and then have like this cartoony sort of value. It wasn't cartoony. We talk about some of the rogues gallery in this series, and we know the big bad, the main bad, based on the first episode, is Silvermane.
Yeah.
Running, he's basically the kingpin of this era. And
He's
there's a
gonna get those
moment.
coppers, you see?
Yeah, you'll never take me alive. um we get a really violent moment in this, and I know you saw it in color. I saw it in black and white, so it still kind of shocked me that they did it.
Yeah.
You saw it in color. What did you think of Silvermane character?
I don't think the ratings changed from that shot that you're talking about. But Silvermane was cool. Like I was saying before, it still reminds me like you might as well. It's like kind of like a prune face kind of vibe I'm getting over here,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with those Dick Tracy villains that he's had, except now turned into the Rogues Gallery villains of Spider-Man. It was a cool sight to see. It was just different than what you're traditionally used to.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it was awesome. It was a different kind. Your expectations was a little different on this one, especially for the younger fans and the younger audience would just be like, oh, okay, I get to relive these things again. Because when we were kids, we would see like glimpses of these in different like cartoons and movies,
Mm-hmm.
which they don't show this too much anymore in this day of age, especially like in the late 20s rather. It's like
Right.
100 years old vibe, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the Silvermane character is cool. It's like setting up like the crime lord stuff. I know we get Tombstone later on, so it'd be interesting to see whether Tombstone is a rival, Tombstone is a henchman, which I
Yeah,
think based on the trailers, he's probably more of a henchman, similar to the Spider-Verse movies.
right. He looks
Um,
like the hand of the big bad, if anything.
yeah, exactly, exactly. We do get a really cool scene where Flint Marco's Sandman,
Yeah.
follows Ben Riley up to the top, the rooftop of a building, and then they have like a full-on fight. And there's some really fun effects. They look cool, really cool in black and white. I think that you know, based on what I think we know of the budget, I think we'll get some really, really epic fight stuff in this. And him swinging around and fighting Sandman didn't disappoint. I thought it was really cool.
I love how they're subtle too with their powers in this one.
Hmm.
Because we've seen like movies before where they just started discovering people have superpowers, and this one they're just like, oh, does he have powers like you too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the morgue scene or the whatever when they're looking at the cadaver.
Right. But it's funny too because you're seeing that 1930s automobiles with chase scenes. Obviously, they're not as fast. We have scooters in LA now going way faster than those cars.
Yeah.
So so chase scenes are getting even hit by those cars. It's not that much of a big deal anymore. Like Nicolas Cage getting hit by that car door and him getting knocked to the ground. So when you're getting pummeled by these villains, they better be hitting hard at this point, more than a crazy car chase scene.
So there is this other soup or powered person that they end up shooting to death in the show. This Addison character who kind of has
Right.
like a Human Torch kind of thing where he like flamed up. I couldn't help but think, when they um kind of disposed of him so quickly and so early on, I was like, oh well, they gotta say that looked like an expensive effect. They probably had to save some money for guys like Megawatt down the line and maybe a bigger Sandman moment. So it was like, oh, okay, because I would have loved to see more Addison and
Yeah.
more of that power set in the show.
Two things that come to mind when I saw that. As I mentioned to you before, and I will keep saying it again, that's my favorite thing to do as a man without powers is to pretend I have flames coming out my hand and just charging it up, putting my hands wide like that. And
Hmm.
he did the same exact thing as any person with those powers do.
That's
It
right.
never fails. They've done it in Heroes, Marvel, DC. They always do it. Um, and two, they had those shots like old classic films where you clearly see things are flammable. You don't light anything up.
Hmm.
Why would he do that in there? Come on, this
Yeah,
is classic case of things are gonna explode right in front of your face.
100%. Well, this was only our reaction to episode one. Stay tuned throughout, the coming days as we finish up the entire series. So this isn't an episodic drop the way Disney Plus does, or other streaming stations. I mean, Amazon with The Boys, they would do episodic releases once a week, but for whatever reason, they dropped the entire series in one day. So it's going to take us a little bit to get to it, but you can expect our full season 1 reaction soon.
Yeah. And I would also like Frank Miller in the show to see what he thinks of this movie. I mean,
Yes.
that series.
Exactly. All right, so we talked about in the opening of this show that there are major Spider-Man spoilers coming ahead that we need to talk about. Well, one of the things that dropped today that isn't quite so spoilery is the new Empire cover showing Spider-Man and the Hand. So obviously a really significant part of this movie involves the Hand. If you are to believe what Empire is selling right now, what do you think about this look at Spidey versus the Hand?
The Hand in the background only almost confirms to me that none other than Matt Murdock himself will show up eventually.
You got to
So,
think, right? It makes sense.
right? I feel like the last time I saw the Hand was fighting against the Defenders. So, maybe they'll all show up. Possibly, one would think, one would hope.
Yeah. So the big rumor that we have to talk about, it's been reported by multiple accounts now and then co-signed by one of the big scoopers. Whether you like her or not, or whether you believe her or not, we're just taking this with a huge grain of salt at this point. But again, if this is true, this is a major spoiler. So the spoiler says that Spider-Man will die at the end of Spider-Man Brand New Day and will be resurrected in Doomsday. Now, wow, like first off, holy crap, right?
Yeah, that's tragic.
Massive spoiler. So if Spider-Man's dying and resurrecting in Doomsday, but he's also reportedly not really in Doomsday, so maybe it's a post-credit scene. And there are also reports that Kevin Feige wants Venom in Secret Wars. Well, if you go back to the original Secret Wars series, the biggest moment and the most valuable cover in that entire run of, I think, 10 issues was this one.
Ooh.
This is the big moment from Secret Wars where Spider-Man gets the symbiote suit for the very first time ever. And you see him, and it's this big moment, this big reveal. And he has the black symbiote Spider-Man suit after that. And it actually helps him many times along the way. Now, my thought is if we are headed down this path and we are looking to do some sort of resurrection in Doomsday, could we see the symbiote already on Earth? Because it's already been teased, right?
Yeah.
We already knew at the end of No Way Home that it left a piece behind. Whether or not you think Venom: The Last Dance retconned that ending, there was a piece of the symbiote left behind. So that is aware of it. They have the hive mind. And so it knows about this Peter Parker relationship. So if Peter Parker does die at the end of Brand New Day, who's not to say that the end credits scene or something in Doomsday is, or even at the end of Brand New Day, is the symbiote finding his grave, coming down, and then bonding with him, and then you get this moment from Web of Spider-Man where Peter, who in the comics wasn't killed but was buried alive in a coma by Kraven. But once he resurrected, he came up and dug his way out of the grave. You could get this really iconic image, but instead of him being buried by Kraven, he was killed in whatever way this happens in Doomsday, and then you get this iconic shot of him as he's resurrected by the symbiote.
I mean, if that was the case, I would like to see a whole, at least a half hour of Craven's Last Hunt.
Right. I don't even think that it has to be Craven, right? I'm
It
just
doesn't.
saying like
But if you're a
like
comic book fan, if you want real
sure.
canon, I feel like that's what you want at this point. No, you're right. It doesn't have to be Craven. But either way, it has to be like some psychological horror type thing, because you're talking about uh the villain doesn't just want to kill Spider-Man. He wants to break him and replace him and be the ultimate predator. And also, man, that's wild. Like, we've had emotions before in Avengers Infinity War of Peter Parker,
Mhm.
disappearing with Tony Stark being really sad that he's gone. I mean, we've had those emotions before, but for this time around, because I mean, let's be straight here. Peter Parker's been through a lot, and all these Spider-Mans. Not only he's lost his friends, but now he's gonna lose himself.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, you might as well have Eminem's soundtrack in there for this time around. Uh but if this is true, what a ultimate spoiler of all spoilers, because now you're expecting this. But now that you're seeing this, are we really expecting this? If we don't get this, how are we going to feel about it?
How do you feel? So I'm glad you kind of brought that up, right? How do you feel about scoopers and quote unquote insiders breaking or putting information out about stuff this major, right? Like, I understand people are looking for engagement and they are, trying to put food on the table, yada
Right.
yada yada. Um, but are there some things that just feel like it's kind of taboo to announce or report?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, before we started doing this podcast together, uh there's certain things I like tried to stay away from. So I
Mhm.
go in there as a surprise. But
Right.
let but nowadays you can't even hide from it, because if you're following any news outlets or any of these things, it will pop up on your feed, whether it's Instagram or X or whatever you use as a platform. You'll see like a headline in there. But you're not gonna get away from it. I mean, it's also on the other side, it's fun to speculate all the time.
Sure.
It's always like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, it's like almost watching sports in a way. You like, with two good teams, you speculate who's gonna do better, who's gonna do worse, who's gonna
Yeah,
play
it's true.
their hearts out, right? And this one, obviously, it's different with the comic lore and the superhero world. But it's cool to see, like, this, if the speculations are actually gonna come into fruition.
So we take this, with a major grain of salt, right? Like this, as as good or bad as this is for the genre, you never quite know for sure. These insiders, these scoopers, don't have a 100% correct track record, so we don't know whether this is for sure going to happen. Um, but since enough people are talking about it, we feel like we have to address it and talk about it as well and continue
For sure.
to speculate and um kind of give you the news of what's out there and talk about how that could affect the film and how that could affect people's feelings, but also say like, hey, there's a chance that this doesn't happen as well. And I think that if this does happen and we are headed towards the symbiote, like, sign me up. I'm all about that. I'm all in for something like that.
Yeah, either way, I'm excited. I mean, symbiote or not, I'm excited for a brand new day, but it really would be a cool sight to see if we bring that symbiote back in here. Maybe they could do a better job than Spider-Man 3 this time around.
Yeah, I would have really hoped that they could do a better job than that. Another another big rumor, and that's really gaining traction right now and being reported by a lot of people, is the Savage Hulk's um amount of screen time that we are getting in Brand New Day, and we obviously are seeing these promotional images that are on t-shirts and backpacks and things like that, and we're showing the Green Hulk, Savage Hulk. We're seeing an angry gray Hulk. So whether or not, again, grain of salt, whether or not we're getting the gray Hulk, it sounds like we're getting a lot of Savage Hulk, and for me, that's all I could hope for.
Right. I think it's about time we get a Savage Hulk because we've been used to this, uh, you know, a different kind of Bruce Banner slash
Yeah,
Hulk
Professor
for a
Hulk.
little bit. Yeah.
Right.
And it's about time they finally bring him back as like that ruthless Hulk that we all admired. I feel like it really has been a while. I mean, I will even bring it back to Ed Norton's Hulk since we last really seen in this type of capacity.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, just to bring him back for the. Are we supposed to see him in Spider-Man Brand New Day, or are we gonna see him in
No,
Doom's?
Spider-Man Brand New Day for sure. He is. We've seen Banner in the trailer, and all the Brand New Day like promotional stuff is showing Savage Hulk.
Right, right. So so if Savage Hulk does come back or just come through for Spider-Man Brand New Day, we're gonna have to play a drinking game of how many Hulk smashes he does throughout the movie.
Yeah. Early on, the report was that there's so much Savage Hulk in this that he's the main villain in this, that Punisher and Spider-Man are teaming up to take down the Hulk. There are also, we also know, or we think at this point, that Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey, and she's the one with doing in the trailer. You see someone is mind controlling people and bouncing from person to person. Almost, it made me think of the Denzel Washington movie. Is it Fallen, where
Right.
everyone he touches, they're able to pass the entity around. Kind of felt like that. But so is Jean Grey unlocking the Savage Hulk to help her with whatever she needs to do? There's been a few test screenings recently for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and they're all super positive, but a few of them I've seen say that Sadie Sink is the real star of this film.
Wow, controlling. But also we've had what the Red Hulk recently on
Hmm.
Captain America Brave New World, right?
Yep.
Do we want to see another Hulk type character destroy the city again and then the heroes trying to fight him off? Um yes, absolutely.
The short answer, yes.
uh except with Bruce Banner this time instead of Harrison Ford. uh but yeah, I mean that would be really interesting if Sadie Sink was, manipulating kind of this Hulk around. What how would she get introduced this time around for this one?
I think maybe, as she's kind of bouncing around from mind to mind, she kind of, finds Banner and realizes that you know, there's something different in his brain, and
Right.
maybe she whatever control Banner has at that moment, maybe if she temporarily breaks, and then Hulk takes over. And I think Hulk's been sidelined for so long that when he gets out, he's going to be really, or when he gets control, he's going to be really, really angry and not looking to give up control. And I think maybe that's how we get the Savage Hulk. And it's not quite like Jean Grey pulling the strings as much as she just disconnected whatever control he had, and then that's just a byproduct of that.
Right. And Bruce Banner also, he's been really happy that he has control over Hulk at this
Yeah.
point. And really, really happy. Like even like signing all those autographs with the kids,
Yeah. Doing
but
the selfies.
doing the selfies. But now that he the rage comes back, and if he does become a big villain in this one, uh I don't know. He's gonna his emotions is gonna go through the wall with this one.
We are getting really close to the drop and the eventual release of this film. And I think just as we get closer and closer, we're supposed to actually get another 45-second trailer coming soon. I think in the next week or so. It's already been rated by the folks that do the ratings for that before they throw them in theaters and on television. So we know that something else is happening. Maybe we will get a glimpse of the Hulk in there. Maybe we'll get a little more of the Hand. It'll be interesting to see, as the marketing ramps up and we get those like quick TV spots that are, playing during the NBA finals and all these things.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see what they want to reveal.
maybe Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Yeah. As a new trailer gets assigned to the next big release, which I think Master Universe is like a week and a half away. So that's exciting.
Right.
All right. So speaking of exciting, yesterday we showed you a first look at Wilson Bethel's, hands, gauntlets, whatever you want to call them, in his new Bullseye suit for season 3. Well, this morning, Getty Images and all kinds of people were shooting footage and photos of the Daredevil season 3 filming in New York City, and we want to show you a bunch of looks that we got here. So let's start here with the Heroes for Hire, man.
Okay.
Heroes for Hire. Look at Luke. That's obviously his daughter with Jessica Jones. And then we get Finn Jones as Danny Rand.
Oh, hey, Uncle Danny. Nice to see you.
Yeah, Uncle Danny and some nice, $1,000 loafers. And I think Finn Jones looks really good here. What do you think about what we're seeing of Mike Coulter and Luke Cage, though?
Looks like Danny Rand is either Danny Rand has been bulking up a little bit, or
I agree.
Luke Cage is not benching as much as he used to.
Yeah, they almost like handed each other the weight difference.
Yeah, but wow, I just can't believe we're getting this back. Look how happy they are. This is almost like one of those one of those pill commercials where you started taking them, now you're happy out of nowhere.
Oh man, this is, it's always going to be compared to the Netflix series, right? And so now people are going to be like, well, my Netflix Luke Cage was more realistic and a bigger, more menacing looking dude. This looks like, just daddy daycare Luke Cage.
Well, I kind of, from a dad point of view, I understand.
Yeah, but you don't have bulletproof skin and super strength.
No, but the six-pack tends to shrink when you stop doing crunches after a while.
For sure. All right.
Also, is there a chance we could see Shang-Chi in this one?
I don't think so. I think they're really trying to keep the movie stuff separate from the TV stuff as much as possible. Well, now with the new leadership, and before they were really blurring the lines, and I think they're trying to go back to that.
I mean, I'd like to see that happen, especially with Iron Fist coming back, because a lot of people wanted, if you have Iron Fist, You got to have Shang-Chi in there too. And that was my whole problem with, you know, just the show itself from Netflix and even the Defender series. I really wanted to see him in there and just them have like a whole team up or whatever they were doing canon wise.
Sure.
But I don't know. Looking like my two dads over here in this picture. Where's Jessica Jones?
Yeah.
And this is Daredevil Born Again season 3, mind you, right?
Mhm.
So, wow, were they in Central Park?
Looks like it.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Here's the coolest image, though. This
Yeah,
is what we came for.
yeah, that's cool. See, that's what I was saying yesterday about the gauntlet. He's not as comfortable with it as he took it off in this one. Look,
Yeah.
and this time he's just holding what? What is that? A can of soda? And
Mhm.
imagine him throwing knives and forks from a diner or whatever he gets his hands on. Um,
It still looks really tactical ready, though.
that's definitely tactical already. Wow. Uh, who's that guy behind him? Is
I
that the
know,
intern
right?
or the AD just really happy to be there?
He's super happy to be there. I'm super happy to see this helmet, though, with the
I'm
white eyes.
and so is Hasbro. Hasbro is really super happy to see this helmet because this is going to bring in a lot of profits.
Yeah, get ready to put this on your Marvel Legends shelf next to your Magneto mask, your Doctor Doom mask, your Daredevil helmet. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
this is
I
definitely
mean,
going up there.
guilty as charged. I would probably get that because that's really cool, especially with the bullseye in the middle.
100%. I'm ready to
Um,
pre-order right now.
wow, is Getty Images working with Marvel on this one? Because that's like, Getty, come over here and take a shot out of this.
Yeah, exactly. Jose Perez and Bauer Griffin, man, they're all over this.
Yeah, they are. I mean, those
We've
are
got
some really cool shots. Look at this.
some video here of a scene with Bullseye, obviously just taken from the wrong angle, but still cool to see. Now this image right here looks really cool, but I think this is doctored. I think this might be AI because we see the same knucklehead right here
With the same
posing for the
face.
camera. We
Yeah.
see this same gentleman, but just from a different angle, like it's been reversed. Because when you look at the hands and the gloves right here, we have the white bullseye logos or the silver
Right.
to match the helmet. But yesterday, when he revealed it, they were all black. So do you think this is real or has this been doctored?
I'm
I mean, it
going
looks
to
great. Don't get me wrong.
the if it's doctored, I mean, like they did a good job of layering those hands because look at half of that bullseye mark, that target logo that
Sure.
he has.
Maybe he's
So
holding the soda like we were just talking about.
yeah, exactly. It's still a good point. You know what? I'm gonna say that's doctored because you're right though.
Yeah, I think they just flipped it on its head. Here's some more shots of our guys are having a cute moment. Well, what are we feeding ice cream to someone or what's happening right here? This is really just
Is that is that
the
is
my
that
two
Cold
dads.
Stone, Baskin Robbins,
Yeah.
Carvel? Like, I know they're in NYC, but wow, that's a small ice cream cup getting shared between 3 people.
Especially those three.
Yeah. Oh, my daughter has that same headset too, so that's cute.
Oh, and then moments later. Yeah,
Oh,
see,
yeah, see what I'm saying?
you can't
Yeah.
share an ice cream cup that small. See? I mean, Luke knew.
See, he knew. He knew the deal. Wait, going back to Bullseye though, weren't they were traveling somewhere, so I guess they came back to New York City, right?
Yeah. They came
So
back.
so I'm only my assumption is they were traveling somewhere to get fitted for his new tactical gear to come back
There
to
you
fight
go.
crime in New York City.
He had to go to England to the Kingsmen to get a tactical upgrade, and then they're heading back.
Right. Oh, you know who else is happy about these pictures? Spirit Halloween because
Yes, yes. Get ready. Besides, every 3D printer and cosplayer looking forward. This is going to be the big one at San Diego Comic-Con this summer, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's coming up. So I would feel like there's gonna be a lot of those. Those boots are fire though, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm thinking someone's going to be taking some catcher's gear and trimming that down so that it fits properly. And look, just some tactical pants you can buy anywhere. The drop holster,
Yeah.
easy enough. The main piece is going to be who can pull off, this top portion, the top half.
Um Everyone, because Spirit Halloween is gonna come out with the muscle ready one.
That's going to do it for today's show. Before we go, though, any final thoughts?
Do have a final thought actually. Don't know how I feel about this one, but 11 Labs has officially partnered with the Stan Lee universe. The joint venture brands and PAL Entertainment that manages his estate to license his voice and likeness for their AI platform. So I've talked to Stan Lee for a good 15 minutes in a room, just me and him conversing. And he was the sweetest guy in the world, super nice. And for him to give me that time was amazing. No pun intended.
Sure.
But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel. I wish I would have asked him about AI at that time, how he feels about his legacy as his voice will continue for generations to come. Uh, Two parts. One part of me loves it that you're gonna hear his voice throughout, but another part is like, I don't know if I don't know if how people feel about this. I've been seeing negative
Right.
reactions online, so
I honestly think Stan would love this. I think that he just would love to just still stay in the hearts and minds of new fans and introduce himself to new people. Um however, I think it kind of like sullies and um yeah, I really don't like it. I think that I want to look back at the moments that he had, and I don't want like to hear him commenting on something current now or some new video. It just kind of it just it feels false and fake and I, I just it doesn't sit well with me.
right. That you're right. That's what I would be against that in that sense, because if you're doing a fake documentary or anything like that, and you have Stanley comment on an AI
Sure.
opinion, obviously, um, that's a terrible look, not just for his legacy, but just for the people who's running his estate. You know,
Mhm.
um, and yeah, and also, uh, let's not put any Stanley cameos at all in any Marvel uh
Right. I
episodes,
definitely
TV,
do
movies, anything.
totally agree. I definitely do not want to see the use of AI. So now that I can get Stan in a cameo in, you know, Avengers Secret Wars, like I have zero interest in that. I want to be
Right.
able to look back at the ones he was actually able to do fondly and remember those and, know that that was actually him as opposed to, well, now that I can just basically draw him into anything, we're just going to do that. I have zero interest in that.
Yeah. Even using his voice for any of the animated series as a cameo, don't do that. Just don't.
Mm-mm.
Just leave it
No,
as is.
I
Funny
agree.
though, I will post it again. And it's on my page, and I'll share it with you. He did talk about his cameos and how he loved doing it when he was talking to me. I have that on video. And also I will post it with you on the Villain's Lair that he saw me as a villain, and I would make a fantastic villain. So
Perfect. Let's do it.
he said that verbatim. That's not AI. That's from our conversation, and he said that on camera. So it's memories like that that sticks with me, and that is why I'm against Stanley AI.
Yep. Same. Well, like we said, that's going to wrap us up today. Remember, you can catch this Villainz Lair podcast show on YouTube. New episodes every Monday through Friday. So if you're loving what you're seeing, please consider subscribing. Please like these videos. It helps us so much with maintaining the channel, finding new viewership, and ultimately giving you the best superhero news and content on the internet. So for Alvin, I've been Ryan. Thank you for stepping inside the Villainz Lair, and we will see you on the next one.